Hey, it's Kamela here from Creative Moms Decant. Today I'm going to show you how to make some stud earrings using your Xtool. Let's go!
You're like a circle that floats around me, keeping me.
Making tiny earrings was an absolute blessing for my business. And here's why. I cut lots of ornaments this year. So here's a sheet of gingerbread ornaments, and no more gingerbreads would fit here. But this scrap is where I started placing all kinds of tiny earring designs and cutting them. I have a couple that I made for Christmas here. I grabbed this file quickly on design bundles, and I'm going to show you all about that in another video. But for this season, I want to make some new earrings. So we're going to jump into Creative Space, so the Xtool software, and I'm going to show you how to make some super fun earrings. Let's open up Creative Space. All right, so this is the Xtool Creative Space. You can download that from the Xtool website. Spoiler, if you're considering an Xtool and you want to take a look, you can download this before the tool, at least as of today. So it opens up to a blank canvas like this, and it's usually small, but I like to enlarge it so that I'm working in a big area where I can see. So to make these earrings using our Xtool, we're going to use the shapes over here. So the first thing we're going to do is insert a shape. And if you hold down your shift key while drawing a shape, it will make it exact. So if you don't hold down your shift key, you can make ovals and things like that. But your shift key will help you make perfect shapes. So I also find it best to work like inside a block. So I'm going to make this circle exactly 4 inches. And then I'm going to place it inside these grids so that I can see what I'm working on. So I find it very necessary when using the Xtool software to use my arrow keys a lot. So keep that in mind and remember that they're there so you don't have to use your mouse for everything. So for my circle stud earrings, we started with a circle. We're going to go back up to the insert area, which has your basic shapes, and we're going to insert some lines. So I want my line to be straight and to be exactly 4 inches to fit a circle perfectly. That is still not straight. Use that shift key and it does help. And 4. All right, and then I am going to align this one centered. And I like to recommend that you use alignment tools for this. You can use your grid locks, and I do sometimes, but I am a big fan of using these alignment tools to get things perfect. And we may want to make a few more lines, so let's copy and paste it twice. And let's put one above this line and one below it. We will cut these and then paint them. And when you're designing, you want to kind of keep in mind that I'm headed towards painting and not make things too tiny. And you also want to keep in mind that you could very easily have it engrave some things. So we will definitely do that. The next thing I want to show you is let's add some circles down here. That'll give us some fun things to paint. Use that shift key. So I'm going to copy this now and paste it again. And some of these you might want to overlap. And then, of course, you don't need it to cut over here. You want it to all stay on the inside. So there's different methods for doing this. But I find it easiest to copy and paste the shape that you are wanting to work with. And then add your other shape where you'd like it. And then I use my shift key to select both. And It was very confusing to me at first, but unite at overlap, and then that's how you get the shape that will fit perfectly where you cut it. So I'm going to continue placing a few circles on this shape, and then I'll show you how to do another one. So this one was super simple, wasn't it? Just a circle and then two lines. Again, I love to use my canvas. You'll notice I lined that up and then I found a mark on the canvas, and then when I flipped it, it fits exactly. So those are just some fun little tips. And here's what we need to do next with these two designs. So I'm going to click on the outside edge and I'm going to make it a cut line. Then these lines are going to be scores. Those are great for painting. And spoiler alert, they're almost easier to paint than like paint by numbers. It gives you just enough of a score that your paint wants to stay in the right spot. Awesome, right? Let's move this down just a little. My eye said, I don't like that. All right. So you can also take these shapes and engrave them, and then you could do paint completely different. So it's completely up to you on whether you want to paint the circles a color, so leave them a square line, or change them to engrave. I have a painted set that I was doing some testing on, so I want to make some new earrings to attract all kinds of customers. So I'm going to engrave these. Now, we want to select all of this and group it. I highly recommend it. I have found that you don't have to, but if you group projects, it seems to go to the machine much easier. So sizing on these is the next thing we should talk about. So I have done most of my Christmas earrings at around 1/2 inch. I will say that I like the studs just about the same. So 1/2 inch is a good size, in my opinion, for stud earrings. So let's take this circle down to 1/2 inch. And we want to unlock it because we do 4.99. So we're good there. All right. And then, of course, for an earring, you need 2. So copy and paste. And then I like to place them close together so that we're not wasting wood. So again, those arrow keys come in handy for this. And because it drives my OCD crazy, I also like to align them so that they look all pretty. And then I group again. So we're going to do that one more time with this one. Group it together. Whoops, don't cut it. Group it together and then change the sizing to that 0.5. I am not sure why, and it's something I need to bring up to Xtool. They're really good about answering questions, and I'm actually on a team that is helping them make the software better for you, and I keep forgetting to mention it. But you cannot put a decimal in first. You have to put the number and then arrow back and put the decimal. So until that's fixed, it is what it is, and it works. All right, and then I'm going to copy this one and paste it. And for time's sake, I won't get so crazy. I'm going to ignore that it's over here. Now, do you notice something? I forgot to change my outside lines of these. So I need to ungroup and I need to change my outside lines to a cut. Ungroup, cut, whoop, now it's cutting both. We don't want that. So I want to make sure I just get that outside edge for my cut file. And sometimes it gets confused, and if you just switch it from engrave to cut, it will fix it, or score and cut, or it'll fix it. All right, so now we have two, and I'm going to show you a couple other really simple ones. So I don't know if anyone noticed, but I was cheating here and working on Canvas 2 and hiding Canvas 1 from you. Not really. But I did. But I want to show you, all of these were made very simply with the methods I showed you. By just using lines and alignment tools, I have 6 different earrings here that are super fun. So let's get these sent through our scraps, and I'll take you over to the machine and we'll watch it cut a little bit, and then I'll give you some tips and tricks for painting these. All right, so it's this set of 5 that I'm going to cut. So we're going to go to process down here after we select what kind of material we're using. So this is very important, and if you don't assign this, it will actually run without doing anything. So complete waste of your time. We don't want that. We are going to use the 3mm Bass plywood today, and by doing that, it already puts in all of your settings, and it is the best thing to use for a beginner. So then you go to process, and your machine has to be on. So I'm going to turn mine on, and then I'm going to click process. And it takes you to this screen. Let's go to process. I'm going to switch it to my camera where my Xtool is. So I've done a couple other quick videos in the monks of my Christmas rush with my Xtool here. But now that I'm a little bit calmed down and back to full-time recording, yay, right? Your power button is over here, and it will light up here. And this is my honeycomb mat, which sometimes has to be cleaned out. I do like to run it just a little bit off of this so that it gets air under it. So I just used some wood cutouts that I actually cut, and they were scrap, so it worked great. And then you can use your positioning arrows on that other screen to position your tool, or when you're here and you want to cut like we do, I want to cut out of the scrap, so I'm going to position my laser. I know it's hard for you to see at this angle, but my laser has a grid that looks like this, and I'm going to use the center of, so it crosses. It's a red laser line that crosses, and I'm going to go for the center and right where I want it to start, and I'm going to line this up, and then we're going to go ahead and go back to the computer screen and push that framing button that I showed you. My light here will flash, and it will frame, and that lets you know that it's going to cut where you want it and the size you want it. So my box here is homemade, but I do have a fan that my husband added, which is my air assist. It gets loud, but I want to turn that on before I begin, and I'm going to close this lid. I have a vent over here on the other side. We used an RV sewer pipe, actually, is what's back here in this corner. If you'd like more information on this, don't hesitate to comment. I'm not saying my husband's going to make a video, but I am saying that we're always happy to answer questions and help you succeed. All right, so I'm going to push this button, and then I'm going to bring this lid down. It's going to shake you a second. I'm sorry. And then we have clamps that just twist. I don't think I got my button pushed. Oh, I'm unframing. Silly me. So we have to go back to our Xtool screen, click Framing Complete, then click start and it will flash again, and then close the lid. Remember, if you're going to watch it, you need to use the Xtool protective glasses. And the first couple times you run it, let's just be real, it's fun to watch. Use the glasses. And then, as of now, I really don't watch it. So I'm just going to throw on some music and let you all watch this finish. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and turn my fan off so we can hear each other. And shake you one more time while I open my lid. Alright, so now I go ahead and turn this off if I can tell everything's fine. I'm going to tell you that recuts are hard, so hopefully everything's fine. I've had really good luck by using the Xtool wood and by using the preset settings. If I'm using a different brand of something, then I make sure to do testing, and that's a video for another day. So I can turn this off, and then if everything goes as planned, it does that, which is amazing. All right, let's collect our cute little pieces here, and I'll meet you over on the painting side. Okay, because of the changes in my office, it's a little bit different recording area, but I wanted to show you, and I will share this file in Xtool. So if you're skipping to right here because you got my file and you got them cut and you want to hear about my painting tips, then you're going to have all of these little earrings in that file. And you will also have the ones we made today, except these, because I don't like how they're working. So I will, share the good ones. I use these acrylic paint markers, and I will link these below. I don't know how to say the company name, but I'm going to say it's I don't know, but I will link them. I bought some from Hobby Lobby. They were more expensive per marker, and I don't like them as much. I'll show you. So this is also a board that I cut and things didn't work when I was playing, but I really like to work on this board because I can test my markers. So there's this one, and they're not bad, they're just different. So, and they're not near as fine tip as these. So these have a nice fine tip, and you can really, I can write really nicely with these. So they work great for painting these little items. And as you can tell, I really went into details, like my sunset, several different colors. There's this one. I love it. It's one of my favorites. Here's this dot one, a little bit smaller than the other ones, but super cute as well. I love little things. I'm definitely a minimalist style, and these earrings are right up my alley. This one is just painted and then striped in those score marks. So super simple. Let's paint one of these that we pulled. Let's do this heart one, or this rounded one, silly me, the one we created together. So I'm just going to paint it this color because I had it out. I find that all colors sell pretty decent. So I just try to find colors that I think mix and match very well. And now I can't find the other side of the circle. Oh my. Silly me. All right, let's set this one aside. And let's go all in here and do the sunset. And I'll show you how I did it. So I liked the white, and then I grabbed a yellow. I like this brighter yellow here. And then you can kind of play with your oranges and another hot orange and a red. And then actually we could go right into the pink. So I laid them out so that I knew what I was doing before I started. You shake these with the lid on, and then if you have to, and to get them started, you pump them. All right, so white line, and turn this the right way, and white line. So these markers really do nice fine lines really easily. So yellow. The wood is almost yellow color. And then my bright orange here, or this is not the bright orange, this is the peachy color. So even that really skinny line, I'm not sure how good you can see that, but this really skinny line, these markers get right in between really well. So that's, I mean, I'm a big fan of these. They are working great for painting my little earrings. They are what I'm using for painting all of my earrings that I have sitting here. Orange. I'm all about an orange. And who doesn't like a pretty sunset? All right. And two more lines here. I'm going to use my red. I definitely recommend that you test, because you don't want to get it on here and then it doesn't work well. Or it's a little different color than you thought it would be, which has totally happened to me. And then my last color is this pinkish. I'm going to spin them around. I like to use my nail to kind of hold them down. And then to finish these, I'm going to let those dry just a little bit. But to finish them, I just have some simple earring backs. And I used E6000. I've used E6000 for everything for a long time, and it did not work well on these. But this Stick Fast, I'll also link it below, it does. So I just picked out a stud that was the right size from my collection, and then just a dot of glue. And it doesn't take much of this Stick Fast. That was probably a little too much. So I'm going to dip this one in that dot of glue and then move it over here. And another back. I am not a super glue fan. So if I look like I'm scared of it, it's because I am. And then I just let those dry. And really the Stick Fast dries really quick. And your earrings are good to go. So that is all I did. I also, when I got ready for packaging, I put them on cards. I used my Cricut. I have a whole nother page of cards here ready to go. And that's it for our super simple Xtool created earrings. I hope you have a joyful day. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.
With an illusion, like a sparrow with broken wings, but now I shine with your reflection.